Hi everyone, this is Courtney with TExES Teacher Today. Today we're going to talk about the Bilingual Education Supplemental test. So I'd like to show you the passing rate for this is 71%. So 29% of the people that take it don't pass it. And you can see the number's been going down the last few years. So why could I help you? Well, I have passed a lot of these tests. I've passed 15 of them now, and you can see I got a 283 when I took my Bilingual Education Supplemental. So I'm well able to help you pass, and I know the skills and strategies. So today I'll keep it really brief. We're just going to go over some of the material from one of the competencies and some sample questions. And then if you have any questions, we can go over those. So if we look at my course is all aligned to the competencies, right? And I tell you what you need to read. You need to read the ALPS, the LPAC framework, right? But I'm going to highlight the main things from those in the course. But let's look at competency one. And competency one is very long, so we're not going to talk about the whole competency, but we will talk about the court cases because I feel like that's what everybody needs help with. So luckily there's only a handful of court cases to know. There's not a ton, so it's not that bad to memorize these, right? So the first one is 1974, the Lau versus Nichols case. In this case, Chinese parents in San Francisco filed a lawsuit leading to the ruling that identical education does not constitute equal education under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Due to the ruling, school districts were required to take affirmative steps to meet the educational needs of non-English speakers. The ruling also established that the Office for Civil Rights has the authority to establish regulations for Title VI enforcement. So this is the case you will probably see the most on the test. And again, equal education, identical education is not equal education because language learners need certain support. Next, we have the Plyler versus Doe. This ruling declared that under the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, the state does not have the right to deny a free public education to undocumented immigrant children. And then 1971, United States of America versus State of Texas. This was a desegregation case based on the issue of discrimination and whether the districts of San Felipe and Del Rio were giving Mexican-American students an equal educational opportunity. Judge William Wayne Justice ordered that the two districts be consolidated, right? It outlawed discrimination based on race, color, or national origin. That's what Civil Action 5281 did in both Texas public and charter schools. Next, we have the Cintron versus Brentwood case. This proposed a bilingual program that segregated Spanish-speaking students from their English-speaking peers in art and music. The Federal District Court for the Eastern District of New York rejected Brentwood's proposed bilingual program, stating that it would violate Lau guidelines from the Lau case by unnecessarily segregating students. The court also stated its objection to the program's lack of a policy to exit students who had gained enough English proficiency to understand mainstream English instruction. Next, we have the Rios versus Reed in 1978. The Patrick Medford School District's transitional bilingual program was found to be basically a course in English. The Federal District Court for the Eastern District of New York deemed that students were denied an equal educational opportunity because they were not receiving academic instruction in Spanish. Next, we have the Castañeda versus Pickard. This is probably the next most important case after Lau. After Lau, this ruling is considered the most important decision affecting language minority students. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals determined that the Raymondville, Texas School District's language remediation program violated the Equal Educational Opportunities Act of 1974. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals set up some basic standards to determine the school district compliance with EEOA. That's the Equal Educational Opportunities Act. These standards are called the Castañeda tests. They include one, the school must have a program based on sound educational theory. So number one is theory. Two is practice. The school must devote the personnel and resources needed to translate the theory into reality. And three is results. The school must not continue a program that fails to produce results. Next is the Keys versus School District 1 using the second element, the Castañeda test. On practice, a U.S. District Court determined that a Denver public school had failed to adequately implement a plan for language minority students. And then this is the last case right here. The Gomez versus Illinois, the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that under EEOA, state education agencies are also required to ensure that language minority students' educational needs are met. The rest of this is legislation, which is also important, right? And up here I have history. So you can see everything I do is aligned to the competencies. It's a lot of information, but it's not overwhelming. And there's a video for each competency. You can see that this video, for example, is 31 minutes, and I go through the highlights of the course. So each competency has videos, and then there's a final exam with some realistic questions. So let's look at a few questions, and I might miss some on purpose to see so you can see what happens if you miss some. A group of immigrants from Venezuela moved to the United States and slowly use their unique customs, and their grandchildren do not know Spanish. This is an example of acculturation, assimilation, ethnoconvergence, transculturation. B is correct. In assimilation, a minority group loses its values and language, right? So that was assimilation. Let's look at number 2. A group of Mexican immigrants from a subgroup with their own values and traditions. Okay, sorry, I read that wrong. A group of Mexican immigrants form a subgroup with their own values and traditions. What is this an example of? So I'm going to get this one wrong on purpose, right? We have acculturation, assimilation, ethnoconvergence, transculturation. This one is C, ethnoconvergence. In ethnoconvergence, people self-divide into smaller groups with an ethnicity such as nationality. And in my course, as you go through it, some of the questions will be on the court cases that we talked about, but I wanted to just show you the basics of how this works. If you need help passing the Bilingual Education Supplemental, the BTLPT, the core subjects, or any other test, you're welcome to give me a call at 361-846-0741, and I'd be happy to help you pass. I've passed 15 of these tests, and I know how to help you pass too. I've helped people pass that are on a waiver, that are on their last attempt, and first-time test takers too, and everything in between. So again, just give me a call at 361-846-0741. Thanks.